standby for it. We'll drop.
Good evening. Welcome back to the Mancunian Way. My name is Martin. I'm your host. And it is Thursday night, which you know what that means. Thursday night chat is back. And we've got Ozzy, Pat, the newest member of the channel, Faye. Welcome. And we picked up a drifter.
Not just by looks.
Yeah, Alan's twin brother.
I just can't.
Back with a squeaky chair.
Number one, who the hell are you? And number two, what the hell is that? You look like a B-Tech Ozzy.
Welcome to the club, mate. I'm loving it.
What's he doing?
Rich looks like he's trimmed down a bit too. He's the first person to ever go to Italy and come back skinnier.
He went to the States after, didn't he? So
just one meal a day.
Yes, 8 courses.
Oh, yeah.
A bit more of a disgrace. Why is everyone watching United? What's going on? Why is everyone watching the United game? What is going on here?
No
I've heard it all tonight. I've heard a City fan say they're going to buy a Liverpool shirt if KDB goes there. Yes, you heard right. I've also, and now everyone's watching United. What is going on here? I am Briggsy. So yeah, hello to Briggsy, Dash, Cade, DC is in the building as always. Mingy Wong, Manchester, Adam, everyone is with us. Lee Gates as always, Jack Lee, and Bella as well, who has got his 2-year anniversary sticker. So big up, mate. Really do appreciate that. And then has doubled it down and gifted 10 channel memberships. You, sir, are a star. Say thank you very much to Belly for that. Someone is one happy boy.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
Linny is with us. Salah is with us. Kelster is with us. Saying big up Faye. Dars, big up the panelists. Rich is finally back. Hashtag Rich Rants. He's been abusing us in the group chat, you know.
you mean you? He's been abusing.
No. He's been no.
Everyone should know the
You
funniest.
don't abuse the boss, Oz. LB said Verts to Man City is off.
He doesn't abuse me ever.
No,
You're not the boss of your own house. Never mind anywhere else, you sunshine. Always welcome, fierce and newest member. Rich, we're saved. He's been found. Evening, John Grogan. Peter Grester, again with his 2-year anniversary. big up everyone tonight. So say, yeah, big up. Thank you, Peter. Kelster, what would the panel do with a Liverpool KDB shirt? Burn it.
Yeah.
Wrap my ass with it. Do everything I can with it. But actually, I wouldn't even waste my money, actually. But,
I'm sorry, but isn't the latest news that he's now going to Napoli? So we're a bit behind some people.
No,
obviously.
I'll tell you off air. I kid
Change
you
the
not.
hourly.
There was a City show where a City fan said, KDB goes to Liverpool. I kid you not. Words were, I am buying a Liverpool shirt.
That is so Red Scouts.
Alan.
I thought
No,
they were the only people.
it
Was it Alan?
It wasn't Alan.
Was he having a moment? Senior moment.
It was the most embarrassing comment I have ever heard, ever.
Mm. Very bizarre.
Yeah. Lena, no, Ryan, Liverpool have already denied it all tonight. Liverpool's not even on the list. So, again, it's just people making stories up. You missed the stream, clearly. Yeah. I was seething. I got invited on, but I got told, no, I'm not coming on because if I come on, you're going to get World War 5, 6, and 7 going off. What did you make of LB saying that City is off? I haven't heard that.
Oh God. I listened to 10 minutes of it while I went down to go get my coffee. I was like, I think some point in there he actually found out who actually killed John F. Kennedy. Like the way he was trying to over decode that damn bloody interview that Verts had with Sports Illustrated. I was like, well,
don't worry.
Just tell us if the moon landing was a fake or not. Like, Jesus.
That waffle show tomorrow, LB's getting it. Have you seen? I mean, yeah. The way he was decoding it was like, I thought he was like a prime FBI detective, the way he was going into it all.
Yep.
Dan Brown novel.
Look at that word there. That word there means this. I'm like, you're just looking for everything you want to look for at the moment.
Is he feeling all right? Does he need to speak to somebody?
Yes, Peter, I will see you down there, mate. I think the plan is we're going in town. I know Yates's is back on the agenda. There's the upstairs bar in Yates's is one of the city bars. So we'll say, I ain't name calling, but my word, that sentence was just unbelievable. See, I wasn't the only one who heard it. I'm actually shell shocked. Yeah. Hello, big up everyone. Hello, Rajak. How are you? Go and show Rajak a lot of love as well. Anyway, right, let's get into it. The title of the show is Final Countdown. Very broad, but we are into the final countdown. Starting with the Saints on Saturday, then the FA Cup final, which City have now released more tickets for today. Clearly, they've held some blocks back because this will sell out, by the way. You don't need to worry about this. This is going to sell out. They're selling very, very quick. And I've got a question with the panel that has really peed me off this week because apparently sexy football is now more important than winning. Apparently Barcelona have to be very, very proud that they were in a basketball game with Inter Milan. They're out, but they've got to be happy. So, yeah. I don't know where to go with that one. Yeah. Anyway, go on, Oz. Good evening. We'll start with you. We'll go around the table.
Evening.
Pardon? Well, you keep moaning at me that you never get your say, so I'm letting you go first.
Well, that's very kind of you. Have you got a question or a debate you'd like me to start off with, or do you just want me to do a bit?
It tells you that no one reads the group chat. I put stuff in the group chat and they don't read it clearly. I said free for all tonight. Go. I gave them the outbrooks and went free for all.
Free for all. So should we start with 115 then?
If you want.
No. I am going to let the floor to Rich because he's been missing in action for a little while on his jollies. And I think everybody really wants to hear, especially Martin, wants to hear a Rich rant. Go on, Rich. I'm opening the floor to you, mate. Especially being in solidarity.
See, Martin didn't introduce Rich because he's pretending he doesn't know him.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's enough for Rich. He seems to have some connection issues. I don't know what's happened there. Slight connection issues. I do
Yeah,
apologise.
well, of course, you don't know him. You don't have a
Sorry
connection.
about that,
Dictator.
It's a slight,
You don't know him anymore. There's no connection.
slight connection issues there, mate.
Well, I think my first rant has got to be about the Rico Lewis agenda amongst you all, where
Who the hell
it
is
was
Rico?
priceless.
Stop it. Stop now.
Rico.
Stop now.
Rico.
Do you do that on purpose? Do you
Might
do
as
that
well
on
just-
purpose?
Of course he does.
You do, don't you?
If you're going to keep doing it, just do it in your Welsh accent.
I should start pronouncing it Italian and call him Rico. Our dear friend Lewis, where before the Nottingham Forest game in the semis, I had to read about bloody 30 posts from everyone, like, what's Pep doing? He's lost his mind. Why is he playing? Why is he playing him? He's rubbish. 2 minutes later, silence. That's all I can say. And I think, yesterday I had to watch a show where half the panel's selling Stonesy, which is, and then Martin, I have to take issue with you on this, saying that there should be no sentimentality in football. Absolute nonsense. Football is all about sentimentality. We support our club for sentimental reasons. We're sentimental as hell. And sometimes I don't actually give a bloody monkeys whether someone can make a rational business case for selling Stonesy. Stonesy stays. Absolute nonsense. And then Patrick, you and Alan, trying to imply that Oscar Bob's already better than Phil Foden. Absolute nonsense. Phil's done it for six seasons. He's had one bad season, and it is a bit disrespectful to be saying that because of a couple of friendly games that someone is better and should have been more impactful than the reigning player of the year. So I think a bit more respect needed. I've watched on some other channels some absolute nonsense about Morgan Gibbs White. We need an engine. We need someone like that. We know we need homegrown players because of the quota. So stop whining and just accept that that's probably a really good move for the club and it's part of an overall thing. And what is there to whinge about at the minute? Since I've been away, we've been winning nearly every week. We've got ourselves into a position where we're now going to come second, and Arsenal are going to come fourth in a 2-horse race. So what is there to complain about? Second, FA Cup winners, world champions, everything's going blue again. Now, come on, cheer up. And no more of Stonesy nonsense.
I might
Just a
interject
quick
by
one.
saying I don't know where the hell you got that from, where I said Oscar Bob was better than Phil Foden.
Yeah, I don't know where I've
Yeah.
said I'm selling John Stones, but there.
Yeah.
No, Martin,
I-
you did. To be fair, Martin, it wasn't you. It was Stonesy was getting sold by Alan and Elliot and various people. I think you actually had a tear in your eye, to be fair, at even the mention of it. So I won't blame
I
you
mean,
for that.
I'm the one.
indiscretion.
I'm the happy clapper at the minute.
I never said that.
What?
I never said
I'm
that.
sure. Yeah, you said he had a good game against Basingstoke United in Houston,
Well, here we
and
go.
therefore he was better than Phil.
Why isn't Basingstoke up for 115 themselves if they can afford to fly to the States every preseason?
Thank you very much, by the way, for your €2, Adam Quinn. Rich, do not forget the Chris Wood agenda.
The Chris Wood agenda it will be there forever. Even
Yeah.
when he's got a statue
Unlike
outside
this one.
about 6 stadiums.
I know you mean, Martin. He
Chris
tried
Wood.
to shut me down in the semi-final because I said Guardiola and Diaz had a fantastic game because they actually kept Chris Wood quiet, which is something not a lot of centre backs can say.
Yeah, Chris Wood he's a blue. He always tones it down against.
Yeah, I always
City
thought it
because
was
he's
a bit
blue.
of agent Chris Wood about it. Yeah, but anyway, it's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. Helping out with Morgan Gibbs White.
Yeah, let's move on. We're making the dictator upset. We'll end up in the gulags before you know it.
90% agree with you, Rich, except for Stones. No. But I said, by the way, Rich, yes, of course you can be sentimental. I said the rebuild can't be sentimental.
Apart from Stones.
Right, is Patrick Ozzy allowed to write a reply? I mean, poor Fee's come into a right old minefield here, hasn't she?
I don't even know what's going on at this time.
Well, the newest member of the
Welcome to
channel
Thursday night.
should have a good bit to say.
Fee,
Go on,
as
Osman.
you're on, as Fee is our newest member, I think it's only fair that it's Fee's go. I normally would have gone ladies first, but as Rich has been missing, we had to let him go first. Go on, Fee.
Well, thanks, Ozzy.
What's your impressions of anything, or even if Rich rants?
Well, I'm the first one to admit I'm not going to flip-flop on it. That I've said in the past, because I know Martin's probably got receipts. But I've definitely said that Stones for me is a concern. Put it that way, you know. And as much as I love the guy and I think he's absolutely brilliant, the injuries are coming more constant, aren't they? They're taking him out for longer and longer. And there's a lot of talk about him and Ake, and you know, who would you keep, who would you sell? But yeah, I'm undecided on Stones, I have to admit. But I obviously rate him, you know, he's a brilliant footballer. But in terms of like anything else going on at the moment, I think it's all a bit quiet, really, isn't it? Apart from all the transfer stuff. And obviously, we've got the whole big Morgan Gibbs-White debate, which I'm sorry, Martin, to mention the name, but it's true. It's the biggest thing going down at the moment. But I just think I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm a happy clapper like Martin. There's nothing else I can say on that. No issue with it whatsoever. Don't understand the outcry. Don't understand it at all. But yeah, not sure. Fire us another one, Ozzy. Anything else? I hate the baseness. I'm like, what do I talk about next? What do I say?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, do you see that? You know, we're looking at Stones, looking at possibly Ake. Are they the two that are looking like being sacrificed, possibly from the back? Yeah,
I think so. I do think so. I think at some point, like they've said about De Bruyne, you've got to look at it from a business point of view, and you've got to look at it as in, you know, who's going to be there, who's going to put in the consistency and not be injury prone, and who's going to take you through to more trophies at the end of the day, which is what the aim is. And taking the sentimentality out of it, you know, on paper, it makes sense that those two would be up for a real discussion about moving on, I think.
Yeah. And again, I suppose you've got to look at the issue that I think that we've been pushing on this show for a while, and I think it seems to go under the radar a lot. I think you've mentioned already, you know, it is the English quotes that we have to think about. If the likes of John Stones or Ake go, or even if both go, those are two places that need to be replaced by, you know, English players, or at least, you know, UK
Homegrown,
national players, homegrown. So it is a difficult one. It's not an easy solutions, you know, because with any sort of homegrown player, there's always a cost when you bring them in from another club. The likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, that is hugely contested by a number of City fans.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think the problem for me is that a lot of people are hung up on this because I feel that it's the likes of Calvin Phillips, the likes of, you know, Jack Grealish. I think we're a bit of PTSD on these.
Yeah,
you know,
a bit
players.
fearful of the whole.
Yeah,
what if it's a failure? Yeah.
I think that's where this is all coming from. Really, is that we pay over the odds for someone who's homegrown from another club, and they never seem to kick on, or at least they haven't done with these two players, especially. You know, Jack Grealish may have had that one decent season with the treble. Calvin Phillips never really got into the squad and never was able to prove himself. So I think, you know, it's really difficult. I think we're willing to give the likes of Foden, Rico a lot more, you know, time. You know, one, because I think they're you know, young, but two, because they've come through the academy. You know, so I think even though there has been a lot of, hate's a strong word, but there has been a lot of criticism, especially with Foden and with Rico. But again, as Rich said earlier with Foden, how people are criticising him for one bad season, where you only have to look at his trophy cabinet, what he has won, and what he's helped to win. He's just been a passenger.
No.
You know, Rico
Yeah,
has
Rich
also
was right on
had
that,
influential
100%.
games. He's had influential goals for our club. You know, and when he came back in, you know, a few weeks back, he put in a fantastic performance. You know, he is a midfielder. He's not a right back. You know, he's filled in at right back because he's had to. But we all know he's not. He's a midfielder. But he's got to develop his game. And he'll have time because Pep is definitely a fan and feels that he can contribute, definitely.
Yeah. And he's obviously, you know, well, it's not, I don't think it's confirmed as yet, but obviously we're thinking he's going to sign a new contract. So to me, it's, you know, it's not even a debate. Rich is right. You're right. It's 100%, you know, support behind Foden. He's absolutely proved himself from, you know, day dot. 100%. I don't understand anybody who would ever question that.
No, and with the likes of Bob and Echeverry, you know, Bob, who has, he's had glimpses, he's had moments in a City shirt, but we haven't seen him on a regular basis, and that's no fault of his own. You know, if he hadn't have broken his leg, you know, this season could have been what could have been.
It's probably the biggest what if of the season, Ozzy.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
It really is when it comes to Bob, you know, and what he could have produced and what he could have done. But, you know, there's no point kind of going, he's the next best thing, because we just haven't seen it. You know, as Richard said, you know, we've got to see him perform in a City shirt. Until he's done it on a regular basis, I'm not saying that Bobby's definitely going to be better than the likes of Cole Palmer, because we've seen what Cole Palmer's done in a City shirt and in a Chelsea shirt. You know, so you can't compare the two players for me. And Echeverry, as we've said so many times, he's not even kicked a ball in the Premier League. He's a very young, talented player. We all were desperate to see. But I think, you know, if we're being honest, we've got to give him time. Pep will bring him in at some point, whether that's during the Club World Cup or some parts of next season, whether that's the earlier rounds of the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, and we'll see him and we'll get to judge him. But right now, the speculation is just wild.
Yeah,
for both players.
And a lot of people, obviously, like you're saying, that it touched on their part as well, that like a lot of people are saying, what if we'd had Oscar Bob, if we'd had Rodri, you know, this season, it would have been a very different season. But it's only ever can be a what if. You know, you've obviously got a lot of other issues within the team in terms of physicality or legs or whatever's going on. But I think you've definitely got to look at it as a what if situation. And there's too much speculation on, people saying, well, I know it would have been different, or I know Oscar Bob would have been the player of the season. In pre-season, he absolutely smashed it. You know, there's no doubt. But everybody can have a few good games, and it's the same with Phil Foden. You know, he's had a few bad games, but it doesn't make a player. It's consistency over time. So you're right, Ozzy. It's about waiting for that consistency to kick in and seeing how they perform within the team week in, week out.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go back to quickly what I said on Wednesday about Oscar Bob, where I may have overhyped it a little bit.
No, he's on defense, isn't he? Defense.
If you go back and listen to what I said, what I was basically saying was that the sort of form that he brought into the start of that season would have been enough to certainly not necessarily carry us, but he would have been one of our most informed players, while a lot of those other players were trying to get up to speed with the season. And what I meant by that is that we could tell when we hit that October, you know, the terrible run from October, there were players there that just looked like they were just absolutely out of gas. And I think having someone like Oscar Bob around certainly would have added not only just a different dynamic, but certainly a lot more energy into every single game. I'm not saying he would have gone and got a goal and assist every single game, but I think he may have offered just something a little bit different and may have just given us that little bit more, that extra 10 minutes more or 15 minutes more that could have been the reason why we got a point instead of losing a game late on, or being able to snatch a draw instead of a loss, or even snatching a win from a draw instead. Just those little factors that could have made a little bit more of a difference in terms of maybe not making us more competitive against Liverpool, but certainly making the season look a little bit more, even more respectable, given where we were, 6 months ago, basically. So that was just one of those. It was just one of the small little, like, cogs in the machine, basically, that unfortunately, broke before we got a chance to see it fully functional. So, yes, while it is disappointing in that, and I think obviously everybody out there would say the biggest what if would be, well, what if Rodri wasn't injured? But we all know Rodri would have had another stellar season, because we expect that. We're still waiting for Oscar Bob to thrive, and while it's a damn shame we missed the whole season of that, I think it's another reason why hopefully we can look at him for next season with even more positivity, because we know the talent's there, but then we can also say, like, this guy's going to have the bit between his teeth and be dying to prove everybody what he was meant to do this season. So again, just another thing, that another element of hype around what we can expect or what we can look forward to for next season.
Yeah, Pat, I definitely can see where you're coming from. I think because if Bob had been fit, it would have been for that winger spot. I think it would have been between him and Savio. I think we would have seen less of Savio this season. I think Savio's had to be over-relied upon, because we just haven't had anyone else really to go out in that spot for most of the season. So
to be honest, Ozzy, I think if Bob played more games, Rico would have played more games too, because we saw small sample sizes from the previous season of that link-up play that they had down the right-hand side, and it was sensational. Like, what we got to see was really, really good, and I think just Rico would have played better. I think they would have just had a better link-up play as well, and Oscar Bob would have just enjoyed having his fellow academy player, just playing around him in that too. So, that's another thing we got to miss out on quite significantly this season. But again, it's just these little things that would have made not the entire season better, but there would have been things where we would have looked back and gone, well, it could have been worse, it could have been better. Just little things that we take as, like, again, what ifs, but then also things that we can look at and go, well, hopefully we'll get to see more of that next season. So, yeah.
I think the argument I'd slightly have, just slightly, is that you look at, like you mentioned Rodri before. Rodri definitely has been the big missing key point, and we think, what if he hadn't have been injured?
Well, he's not my biggest what if, because we know he would have had a great season anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I think for me, the likes of Bob, the likes of Rico, the likes of O'Reilly, even if they'd have all come in during that period of, where, the November, the December into January kind of real big slump that we had, I can see your argument saying they may have had a small impact. And I think it would have been small, because I think the whole team really fell apart in a lot of respects. Everybody, Haaland had a bit of an off, Guardiola, again, was a bit off, so I think it would have made some impact, but not to the degree where I think we really would have been challenging. I think Rodri has been the missing key, and the players that the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Kovacic, Gundo, Bernardo Silva, those players have had a massive impact because they've declined in one way or another, which I think has had that detrimental effect on the team. So I think ultimately we still would have seen some part of what's happened would have happened anyway. For me, that drop off would have happened. I think we've all said it because of the 4 in a row, doing it for so long, players that I've just mentioned. It was a step too far for a 5th Premier League. That's the way I look at it.
So, in summary, Stone stays in this sort of. No.
Bit of sentimentality there, Rich.
No,
I won't be happy about that.
I'm pretty clear on Stones. We won the league. We won the league in 2019 because we had a world-class centre-back who was nurtured, who was trained specially to their needs, and who had a real swan song. one thing is absolutely clear from John Stones: when he's fit, he had moments last season where he was as good as ever. There's no drop off. Unlike KDB, unlike Grealish, unlike Bernardo, unlike
Gundogan, maybe.
Gundogan, who've all seen their peak drop. Stones was as good as ever. I mean, that game was Newcastle, wasn't it? He was world class, and he still is.
Yeah.
And so with John Stones, if we've got any sense at all, we've got to look at how we work with him, because what a surprise, he got injured when he was starting his third game in just under 7 days. He got injured starting a third game. Now, the fans can see he should probably be playing 1 game a week. And so we've got to take that best centre-back in the world and utilise him. And if it's only for 35 games, I think I would keep him 100 times over keeping De Bruyne, because I think John Stones is still capable of being at his best. I don't think I've seen De Bruyne's best for nearly 2.5 seasons. So
I agree with you.
I'm not sentimental about De Bruyne going, but I think Stones would be a heart and a head mistake.
Do you not think, though, that we need to see consistency from him? If the injuries are kicking in, do you not think we need to see, like, obviously now, like you're saying, it's correct. Like, obviously 3 games in 7 days or whatever, it's just too much to bring somebody in and do that after an injury. But do you think that maybe that's the issue people have? Like, they're just assuming now that he's just going to be, a few games in, he's going to get injured again because he's injury prone. That's where people, decisions are being influenced.
I think that's where we manage him properly. I think the fact that we brought him back and tried to play him 3 days in a week, less than a month, and he'd come back from injury, it's like throwing matches on some petrol in your kitchen and wondering why your kitchen's on fire. If you do something that obviously, every fan could see that was going to happen. So, so I think if we train him properly and use him properly and don't try and
Stones' injury to burning a house down.
Yeah, pretty much. It was so obvious. Like, is there anyone on this show who hasn't said Stone shouldn't pay 3 times in a week?
No, but I'm not comparing it to burning your house down and having nowhere to live.
I think the difference is,
and then there's where you're going with this.
I think the difference is we didn't have cover, so we probably felt we had no choice. But the mistake,
he didn't have cover. He was in front of him.
Well, Nunes playing striker, but the point is, our mistake was not. Yeah, well, he wasn't doing the job at the time.
Oh, cover, not cover. Okay.
Boom, boom.
No,
all right. That was a dad joke.
That was a very, very bad dad joke, by the way.
I will do my exit in a minute. Can I just do these really amazing people? I'm sorry to jump in.
You want to do these really amazing people?
Wow.
Pause.
I'm trying not to speak tonight because I'm saving my voice for going to a football match on Saturday. I'll tell you all about it one day. Adam Quinn, you're a legend, mate. 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Say thank you if you have got it. Brian jumped in with the old 22 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Another legend. And Spartacus with their 5 Brazilian. I said about didn't keep Wood quiet. What?
The currency, it's reais.
All right. Still Brazilian, isn't it?
Yeah, but were you trying to say what the currency was?
No.
Were you going to say $5?
Then I think $9. Shut up, you. Sit up. You slouching. Our centre backs didn't keep Wood quiet. He kept.
You're going to start asking me, is that chewing gum?
Sit up. Do as your dad says. Our centre backs didn't keep Wood quiet. He kept himself quiet for the love of the club. Do you know why, Spartacus? Because he's shit. End of. Move on. See you later. Blue Art, I'm going to throw a curveball in. Does anyone think that our commitment to games pre-season will affect our start to next season?
As in the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, or?
Yeah, the World Cup. It's not a World Cup.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a World Cup.
No,
Club World Cup, you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I might answer this one quickly. I think to be honest, I think it'll be like there will be some sort of a preseason come July, August, but I think I think the club would be silly to have to, you know, pack up all their resources again and then head abroad to do something. I think this is just one of those, because of the Club World Cup, this is one of those situations where, sorry, Asia, sorry, North America, you're going to have to write this one off in terms of having the club over for a preseason. One, because America's already going to have them just at a different time of year. But also, too, I think for the sensible thing to do is if they're going to have a preseason, just keep it to the UK, and worst case, maybe Europe. You know, like what a lot of European teams do anyway, where they just stay local and do things, because I don't think it's going to help the team. I think the way that they're going to come back into it, the last thing they want to do is be traveling around the world for just, you know, a week or two. It's funny because I saw that comment earlier, and and remember when we signed Gavardio, there was that agreement in the contract.
Don't do that, Fade. Seriously, don't do that.
Pause.
I'm doing it. A boxing gloves.
Don't do that.
It looks even worse.
I'm not doing that.
That isn't how it looks, Fade. Move on, quick.
Yep. Welcome to the channel. The
So you don't know. I did not look like.
Don't do that either.
Right. Bye.
just seriously, just sit on your hands. Like, honestly.
I'll be back in a minute.
I'm sorry.
I am too. Don't worry. No, look. You remember when we signed Gavardio, there was that agreement that we would do a preseason match against Leipzig at their home ground. Might be a good opportunity to finally fulfill that need of the contract, basically. So, I think it's just smart that the club doesn't move to the other side of the world. You know, just for the sake of like 10 days of marketing and games and things like that. Like, I love a preseason. Don't get me wrong; like they're good fun, but in terms of how the club starts their league campaign, I don't think it would be smart to head off to another country. Well, within reason, I think, like I said, Europe's the furthest I'd expect or hope the club to go.
Jumping over to Leipzig is not going to. It's like a couple of hours Germany, isn't it? It's not going to be.
It's not difficult at all. You know, the Club World Cup's created that opportunity where they can actually look at it and go, well, hey, now we can actually fulfill that part of Gvardio's contract. Everything's done. Move on. And then from there, you know, if the opportunity comes to have more pre-seasons within Europe, that's fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the lead up to next season, we just see a bunch of games being played, maybe behind closed doors, or maybe they'll offer a few thousand seats at the academy or something like that. I don't expect, and I don't want some massive, sort of global expedition again to go to the other side of the world for a pre-season, because one, you're only going to see academy players there anyway, and number two, it just does not make any sense given the start-stop nature of what we're doing with this Club World Cup.
Yeah. I've got a question for everybody, but obviously I'd like just to welcome Alan. It's good to see you, mate. How's it going? You're on mute, mate.
You're on mute, Alan.
You're on mute, Alan. Fantastic opinion,
I've always hoped Alan would become a mime.
I'm not going to do any more.
I think he'd be the best mime since Marcel Marceau.
So yeah,
he was speechless from Saturday till about Thursday. So,
Alan, we can't hear you. So sort your mic out and then.
It'd be brilliant. Imagine we could use AI to give him decent opinions.
Well, that's the future.
Alan's AI would just have one word, 4 letters, and it starts with S and ends with T.
Shit, not go any further.
They are.
So go and sort your microphone out, Alan.
I can. You know what he's saying? He's saying.
Oh, we can hear you.
I think I can hear him.
Can you hear me? Oh,
we can hear you.
Oh, jeez, he's come around.
You've got these new settings on StreamYard. It's what the hell?
New settings, bloody hell! You changed your bloody house and everything.
No,
I'm upstairs because someone's downstairs asleep and they can hear me, so I've come right to the top floor.
He has got a new Commodore 65, hasn't he? He's traded it
to complement the Atari.
Richard,
nice to see you, Alan.
Thank you, Richard. It's nice to see you. Have you stopped travelling now?
I have, yeah. Can't you recognise I'm back in?
You're back home. Yeah, back in Aussie.
And it's just getting light in the morning.
And thank you for sending pictures of trams with Mancini on it. I did enjoy that.
I was quite pleased. There was Mancinis everywhere in Italy. trams, Mancini, shops called Mancini. It was like you've been living there.
I know, great. I loved it. I saw it. Beautiful.
Nice. Rich, I've got a question. Kind of, because you've been away. I know you've caught some games, so you don't have to have a full answer. But obviously, Pep has changed the way we're playing currently over the last probably month. So my kind of question is that, do you think this is just for now? Do you think this is just to get us to the end of the season, the best way that Pep thinks he can get the best out of the team, to get the results, to get us to qualify for Europe? Or can you see this going into next season? Is this, the formula he thinks he's going to go on to through the preseason and then into beyond? Personally, I don't think it is. I think because, one, with the players possibly that we're going to bring in, but two, I just don't think it seems very pragmatic, which I know Pep can be, but I think it's too. I don't think it plays to certain player strengths like Haaland. So what are your thoughts? And obviously I'll bring everybody else in, but Rich?
My thoughts are, honestly, I don't think Pep knows the answer to that. I don't think Pep knows. I think he did what he had to do to get us into the top 5. So I think he changed things up with the personnel he's got, and not all being used anywhere near as well as he knows they can be used at their absolute best. But with the form and the fact we just needed some solidity, he changed things up. I don't think it's the way he'd love to be playing if he had all the players he wanted in the world. He'd probably still go back to the way he played, or similar to the way he played at Barca if he could. If he had, the exact right back, the best right back in the world, and the best midfield in the world, and the best forward in the world, he'd probably go to something really much more pure like that. But I think he has shown in the last few years. I think he showed it in 23, where I don't think the football was as nice in 23 when we won for most of it. I know there were some highlights like when we smashed Madrid and stuff where it was just out of this world, but it was quite pragmatic at times. And I think he's had to do that this season. Whether it will be next season will depend on the form of the players, who we sign, and whether when he starts to tinker us into a slightly more exciting way, we start conceding 4 goals in 10 minutes and throwing away 3-goal leads, or whether we start to show some solidity. Because I think he's going to be really conscious next season not to let us happen what happened this October, November. So I think he's going to shut things down much quicker if we look like we're going off the rails. So I think we'll see a bit more pragmatic, but I don't think this is a long-term strategic plan. I think this is, let's get through this season, let's do it, and we'll see in the summer and in the start of next season how people are, how they're playing, and how things are looking before he really decides what his tactic is next year. And I think every time over the years we say, "Oh, Pep's nailed it, this is the way we're going to play," we then promptly change anyway, because he's got, teams figure us out in 12 months. So if he does get a setup, he's always thinking about the next one, because we'll get found out a bit and we'll need to change again.
Yeah,
so
because I think
I'm not worried.
Spot on.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, I think City fans and other fans have been quite enamoured by the way PSG have been playing, and the way they've completely changed their formula, going from Galacticos into these young, really talented players, and obviously now they've got themselves into Champions League's final. Pat, do you think that any influence of PSG or anything that, the question I asked Rich about, our current tactics, what are your thoughts going into next season?
Trying to observe what's changed, maybe from the start of this season to what we're playing now. What also to the manner, I think that's a question to answer in progress as well too, depending on who we may sign in the summer. But I do get the sense that we are looking at definitely trying to play with a bit more tempo, play a bit more expansive football as time goes on. It's a shame, we're not in a position where we could sort of be on the beach right now and maybe, guarantee that we've got fifth spot wrapped up, or at least fifth spot wrapped up, because then I think we'd start seeing play with a bit more freedom, play with a bit more experimentation in a way towards next season. But I've always had this thought that there's certain elements of our game that we've done over the last 6-7 weeks that you feel like that's going to be reflected in what we do next season as well too. Just in terms of the way we sort of utilizing players like Nunes and O'Reilly as our wing backs. Now, I don't expect them to be sort of first choice come next season. I think there will be signings that will come in and be the first choice over them. Cambiaso is a big one that stands out for me as well. I just expect to see a little bit more expansive sort of football. And as Rich said, he said, aesthetically, I don't think our treble season style of play was the best, but it was effective. And I think what we're going to see is there is a possibility that we may see something that might be aesthetically pleasing on, to watch, but still just as effective as the way we sort of played when we played 4-3-3 in the Centurion season. Now, I know whenever we start talking about that, people go absolutely crazy, and fair play, because it was probably our most exciting season to watch this team play, just given the quality of players that we had. But I think there's a lot of potential there that we could see some very, very exciting sort of football, and maybe going away from what we've sort of done over the last 2 or 3 years. But look, I again, this is another thing for me to be excited about for next season. So I do hope that maybe, say, after the cup final, or even after Bournemouth or something, maybe we can use like a game like Fulham as a chance to experiment. Like, it could be a dead rubber situation in terms of top 5, and maybe we might see something radical, or something like, given that could be used in a way like I said this on the Blues Down Under show, where we might see maybe if Fulham's like a dead rubber game, we might see it like, the end of like an Avengers movie, where they do like a 5-minute snippet of like the teaser for what the next sequel is going to be. I've got this feeling that we might see some of that too for that sort of game. So that's just small little nitpicking for me, but I'm always just trying to look at certain things that we're sort of branching away from the whole control football for the last few years, and just seeing what sort of expansive style we're playing and things like that. And just again, more things just to look forward to.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, obviously, as Martin was alluding to at the beginning of the show about the sexy football, because I think that's when people look at PSG, I think that's probably what everyone would like. Do you know what I mean? That fluid, that pace, that, brilliant front three they've currently got. And I think the midfielders are also doing a fantastic job. And I think we've commented on a few times that some of the players that we feel like we've missed out on, that, the talent that they've got currently. And I think, going into the season, I think Pep will want to bring back the control. I think he'll want to bring, pass, because I think he wants the ball to do most of the work. Do you know what I mean? That's the way Pep looks at football, that the ball should be predominantly doing the work, and that it should be fast and fluid between all the players. Fee?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think obviously we're in the midst of a rebuild as well. I think that it's going to look potentially not like an absolutely instant, like the beginning of this season where we just came in and smashed it. I think there's going to be a little bit of teething time potentially, because we're going to potentially have a lot of new players that are working towards fitting in together and working together as a City team that flow well, like you say, with a higher tempo, which I think a lot of people are looking forward to. But I feel like Rich said as well, it's going to be a case of potentially Pep looking at the start of this new season with the new players, with the older players coming back in, the players that are coming back from injury like Rodri, Oscar Bob, and just working out how it's all going to fit together, and how it's going to work. It's like recent form. Obviously, we had that massive dip towards the end of last year, and then he's made it work, and he's worked out a system where now obviously we can claw away for that Champions League spot and we can secure it. But I think there's going to be a lot of that at the beginning of the season. I'm thinking, a bit of bit of ups and downs and a bit of everybody working to sort of see what system works, because it is in the midst of a rebuild. You've not got that set team that's coming in that's all worked together, that's smashing it every week. We've had obviously a lot of injuries. I feel like it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting ride, and we'll just wait and see who comes in, and how the system's going to be, what formation he plays on a weekly basis. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really interesting season with it being mid-rebuild. Yeah, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, just before we carry on, just wanted to shout out Foggy again, coming through with 10 memberships. So big up to you, mate. Always, your generosity is second to none. If you received a membership from him, be sure to give him a big old W in the chat. And send a lot of love, because as I said before, his contribution to this channel is Ballon d'Or quality, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I was just about to do the same thing, Pat. So thank you very much for that. Alan, you've been waiting very patiently. I appreciate that, mate.
Just 1 second, Ozzy. I just want to say one thing though. You never have to choose between sexy football and winning. You should always aspire to do both. There's teams we will remember all our lives are going to be things like that Barca side of the late, 2008, 2009, because they played sexy football and they won. And, we will remember sides who played sexy football like Keegan's Newcastle, just as long as we'll remember pragmatic winners like Jose's Chelsea. So I think you have to aspire to both. I think, and if you go down, trying sexy football, that happens. But don't just try and win by just boring the game to death, because it isn't. Football's a beautiful game. It is the beautiful game. And you don't aspire to win at all costs playing boring football. You aspire to win, but you aspire to win playing beautiful football. And that is where football is at its best, when you do the two together. So I want City to aim high, aim for both. And I hope we don't have to sell out entertaining just to win games. That would be, for me, sad. Sorry, I'll let you, sir.
Yeah, Rich, I couldn't put it any better, mate. I think you're totally right. I think you definitely, that is the way that I think we'd all aspire this team to go forward and do. I just think you can have both, and we have had both. I think that's the important thing to remember. I mean, I think our rival fans and some of the media would turn around and go that it's been boring while City have been winning all the titles. But I think, really and truly, if they could swap,
not boring for us.
Well, again, if they could swap their season for ours, I think every single one of them, even Liverpool fans, would take what we've done. So, Alan, again, you've been patient, mate. I appreciate it. What have you got to say on anything that we've been talking about?
The one thing that Pep will not sacrifice is the control of the ball. That has been his DNA since he was at Barcelona. The control he won't sacrifice on, no way, in a million years. He'll want to keep the ball all the time, all right? I think one thing he will look at is tinkering with the players. It all depends on who he gets as well. For me, he needs more pace in the team. In midfield, without any shadow of doubt, he's got to have pace. And we haven't got pace in midfield. I think out wide, in the wider players, the two that play in the front three on the wide areas, I don't rate at all. I think Oscar Bob's better than all of them by a mile. So he'll definitely be in the plan. I think the lack of opportunity Haaland's had in times in games with creative chances has been sparse this season. I think he's got to change that. And that comes from sheer pace. Moving the ball quickly is one thing, but having the pace in the team to beat players. Like Doku's got the pace, he beats players for fun, but then does nothing with it. He doesn't look up enough for me. His first 10 yards are unbelievable and that's exciting, but you literally can toss a coin to wonder if he's going to find a City shirt or not. And I think everyone here must agree with that. So
yeah, I'll challenge you on one thing, Alan. We would not be battling for second now if Doku hadn't come on at games like Everton.
I
Not
agree.
done what he did against Wolves and like that.
But you've
And
got to
he's been
agree.
a difference maker. He's been a difference maker in the last
Unless he
6 or 7 games.
unless he improves his own product, mate, on a consistent basis, he's going to struggle to get in the team for me. And Martin mentioned the other night, if City change the system and the way they play, he's going to struggle to get in. Foden,
I think it's twofold. I think he needs to improve, but I think City need to improve around him because the amount of times Doku gets there and there's no one in the box apart from 3 opposition players, or he gets there and there's 5 opposition players and no one's attacked the near post. They've only gone to the back post. So he has to improve, but we've got to improve playing with him because at the moment he gets there and the others, Haaland might be able to keep up, but the others haven't kept up with him. And so he has to take back, do a Jack Grealish and let the players rest for 30 seconds.
but it's a point where this season, at times, our wider players have not rated enough and not scored enough goals. Our wider players, and everyone's got to agree with that.
I think you're right, Alan. I think it's because of the lack of pace as well in midfield.
Yeah.
That is a big issue. I think you're right.
I think Haaland is a big miss as well because you've got that person in the box who is clinical. Do you know what I mean? And we have definitely missed Haaland. I think the wide players have missed Haaland significantly. But I think you only have to look at that pass that he did for Kevin De Bruyne. Do you know what I mean? In the last game where I watched it back and the slow motion captures that he really looked for where Kevin De Bruyne was and pinpointed pretty much that ball in Kevin's path.
But we can't.
Doku is using his head a lot more than more than as much as his feet now, which is something we've been crying out for a while.
He needs to prove
he's growing, isn't he? He's growing as a player. He's becoming more intelligent with it. I think. I agree.
Yeah,
he's still so young that he has still got time on his side, and I think for a player of his ability, his skill, I think if Pep can focus him and make him focus, get his head up, like Pat has just said, I believe that Doku can really have a big impact going into next season and beyond.
I hope you're right because he's got to prove it.
But we all hope that because I think we all want to get behind our players, regardless of what their form has been like this season. Because I think we've seen glimpses of the player that we know they can be.
We all get excited when he's got the ball at his feet, but it's always very anticlimactic because you're like, oh, where's this going to end up?
But it's not. I don't think it is always anticlimactic because I think over the last 6 weeks, I think.
Oh no, I mean, it used to. You used to see him run with the ball, but then it would just end up in nothing.
Yeah, and let's not beat around the bush. If he could pass and deliver like De Bruyne, he'd be about to win his 4th Ballon d'Or because there isn't a better player at beating a man, accelerating off the mark and everything else.
No.
So to be criticising possibly, certainly in the top 3 or 4 players in the whole world at actually beating a player, at actually, getting to speed up a standing mark, etc. Yeah, but you can't expect him to be like Messi, Maradona, and to criticise a player because you're not Messi and Ronaldo rolled into one is a bit. I think he's got to learn, but I think at the end of the day, for a goal to happen, you've got to do a good pass, and someone's got to be in the right place. And I would say 80% of the time that Doku has been slammed early in the season for not putting the ball, there hasn't been a player in the right place. So, yes, he hasn't done the best ball, but you've also got to have the players there. And I think Fee nailed it. If we had, Baleba and Morgan Gibbs-White and everyone else up and down in the midfield, keeping up with the pace of the play, we'd have had another 10 assists from Doku because there'd have been players there. And, sadly, playing those fast wingers, getting ahead of the other team, getting behind them, isn't useful if you haven't actually got the energy and the setup in your team to be able to back it up. So I think we've got to give him a chance of players who can actually keep up with him before we can actually judge whether he can pass or not.
I will say one thing, Rich, that might hurt a few people, but it'll be nice to see Foden back again because he's not been with us all season. He's got obviously health and fitness problems, and we missed him moving into that box of scoring. When he has played, he has scored goals, but there is something wrong with him, and we can clearly see that. And he needs to get fit, and needs to get his health right, because if he's not by the middle of next season, there's a serious question to be asked.
I don't know if I agree with that, Alan. I mean, I think, in all honesty, the amount of things that Foden's done for this club, I think he's allowed to have an off season. I think he's allowed to have time to recoup. As Pat has said, I think him going along to the World Club, going along,
getting out of the UK will be a bit of a reset.
Getting out, spending time with his family in America, like Pat has said several times, taking his kids to Disneyland, doing all those things, having a total good break, then coming in next season. I think that's when we'll start seeing the best of Phil Foden again. I think to write him off, even in next season.
Ozzy, I've not written him off. I said get him back to where he was, because this season he's nowhere near, mate.
Yeah.
No,
but it was going to be a tough second act to follow after last season, though. So it's just a shame that it's just a shame that it's been such a severe drop off. But Ozzy's right, and I know I get where Alan's coming from, but it's just a good opportunity for a reset, and it'd be nice if even if he came in and just had a little bit of a cameo in the States and that just for a few games, that would be something that it could really sort of propel him forward to getting back to the sort of form we saw last year, basically. So. Yeah, I think the sensible thing now is just to shut him down till the end of the season, and then have him ready to go for the States.
Yeah, I think the other thing for me, I think when it comes to Foden, is that he's no longer a kid, so to speak. He's 25. He's a senior player now, really, because what I'm saying is going forward, with the likes of Kevin leaving, with Gundo leaving, either this season or next, or whether he extends that contract. Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, the senior players that are all about to leave, Kyle Walker as well. He's going to be the senior player that has been through all the trebles, the quads, everything he's been there for. It's now all these players like, Doku, Savio, they're all going to be looking at Foden going, you've done it, you've been there. We need to learn from you. So that's going to give him a huge step to start going, I need to not only do my business on the pitch, but I also need to lead some of these players. Where that's happening, or not, that's for the players to decide. We know that's how that works. So I just think he is now going to move into that position now of being properly one of the senior players when the rest of the squad moves on. That backbone that goes throughout the squad moves on. It's now time for the likes of Foden to step up.
Yeah. Well, good.
Just crazy. Phil Foden's only 25, nearly 25, and he's already had over 300 appearances.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable how quickly time catches up on you.
Yeah. The point before, I'm just going to go back to that point as well, Rich made with the sexy football debate. I think talking about, as we were discussing, a player like Doku, I think he's capable, or he will be capable, obviously, when that end product is improving all the time, which we've seen it is, and the intelligence is kicking in. I think that, he's capable of doing both, absolutely. Some of the assists he's provided, that beautiful, flick on the outside of his foot to Nunes, and he's definitely capable of doing both. And that's why Phil Foden won Player of the Season last year, and he's 100% capable of it. We just need him back, and it's a shared frustration amongst City fans, but I'm sure he will be, and I'm sure when he's back to his best, we'll be right back there seeing it again after he's had this big rest in summer, hopefully.
Yeah,
good,
definitely
good. It's worth discussing it because it definitely has been a problem from all season, especially his health.
That's that's why he has been off, his health.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not been off; it's a physical thing. Yeah,
I'm just discussing it. That's all.
Do you know what bugs me? What bugs me, and I'm sorry I'm back now, so I don't know where you're up to. So I'm just down.
You're sorry you're back.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm back. Okay.
Just to put it in perspective, Martin, just in case.
What was that, Alan?
Alan.
Sorry, I didn't quite get you.
No, just Alan he wasn't being critical of Foden in a bad way. He was just asking questions. So
he's hated on him all season, Alan. Don't let him fool you, Ozzy. No.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt while he's been on here tonight. So Alan, I'm giving you the kudos, the credit now.
That's because he rings me up and goes, "Have you heard out? Do you know anything?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Alan, you're letting yourself down here now. We've all got your back here.
Yeah.
You know.
I think this season,
I'm being diplomatic. That's where I am.
I think people have just gone a little bit wild. They're a little bit emotional. Everyone's gone cuckoo a little bit. It's like the window. Virts is in, Virts is out. This guy's in. I don't want Gibbs White. I don't want him. And I want him. And it's like, let's just calm down. Let's just see what happens. Relax.
You do realise, though, Martin, we're going to have to do a 3-day long stream if Virts is announced anywhere else. We're going to have to. Rich, get the beard ready.
The thing is with Virts, and it's the same with Gibbs White and whoever, Diego, Gibbs White, nothing is ever done until it's signed and sealed.
Yeah.
A deal can break down at any time. If that was the case, we'd have had Eden Hazard in our 11, Isco in our 11, Laporte had signed 6 months earlier. We can go through them. We'd have had Robin van Persie. We'd have had De Rossa in the midfield instead of Jack Rodwell. We'd have gone. That's just football. Sadly, things can change.
Yeah.
City have done everything they can with Virts. If Virts doesn't come, it's not because of Manchester City. It's because of Florian Virts.
Yeah.
Correct.
People have got to remember he's not a City fan. He's not a Manchester City fan.
I bet you they'll dig a little picture of him on a bike when he's about 5 in a City shirt. When he signs, and say, he's always a City fan.
There's always one.
Yeah, they always do that when they go to Liverpool, don't
We're
they?
City fans when we sign now.
Haaland was a City fan. That's the difference.
Yeah, and people just got to realise and just relax. City will spend money in the summer and we fine. Have you talked about the exciting football over results? Have you done it?
Yeah, a little bit,
Oh,
I know, Martin.
I wanted to rant on it.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's heard your rants.
Yeah, well, Rich brought it up. Rich was talking about it and saying, no, you can have both and you should wish for both. And that's fair. I think a lot of people agree. But I think, and then we were saying, that Doku can provide both. There's certain players that can provide both, or potentially in the future. But I think it's all open in the air. Rich's dog said he agrees. What do you think, Mike?
It's not that for me. It's like we praise. We're now praising failure, which is something I'd never seen before. I always got criticised, a lot of criticism, because I'm not that bothered about trophies and everything else. And it was, where's your standards? And this week, I've seen Barcelona get beat by Inter Milan. And I got, Barcelona were magnificent. What a game of football. Great. Barcelona are out. Arsenal, Arteta comes out with, we're the best team in Europe. You've not won a trophy in 5 years. You can be the best team for 25 years, mate. You don't win out.
In all fairness, though, he has been criticised a lot.
No, what I mean, it's like, if sexy football was a thing, we'd be giving Ange the Manager of the Year award every year because Tottenham play sexy football. Don't do that with it, but they play it.
But as Rich says, as Rich said, though, you look at the team of Barcelona back in 2008-9 under Pep, where they did play sexy football, but they also played the control. So you can have both, and we've seen it under City as well, Martin. We've seen both. So it's not like it can't be achieved. And if there's any manager or any team in the world that can do it, it's City and Pep.
But I don't think we played that football in about 3-4 years, though. We won the treble by not playing sexy football. We had good results in games, But people
some
look
of it,
at that
some
Real
of it
Madrid
was
game.
it was
Some of
pragmatic.
the
But some
matches
of it
were
was quite
Martin.
sexy.
No,
of it
people
was.
Some of it was
look at that Real
beautiful.
Madrid game. Hang on, people look at that Real Madrid game and that Bayern Munich game and think that's how we played week in, week out. We didn't. They
No.
were
Yeah,
one off.
right. We kept the
No,
ball. We just kept the ball.
But as we've always said, that as Alan just said, we keep the ball, and we keep the ball during the matches that need it. Pep is a genius at playing every game. He plays the next game in front. Do you know what I mean? He's always adapting to whatever opposition is in front of him, and that's why he is the best right now. Do you know what I mean? Because he is so able to look at who's in front of him that he's playing that week and go, "This is the way we're going to do it." Where we need the control, or we need the pacey wingers like Docker and Savio, he's able to do that. And again, it's perspective whether you think that's sexy or not. And as we all said, there are games during the treble where there was those elements of sexy football and the control. So again, you can have both. It's just down to mainly individual games that you will see that more than one the other.
Yeah. As a kid, I used to watch, obviously, City fan. They weren't doing well. But then you'd watch on a Sunday morning all the Italian football. Go Lazio, was it? Go Lazio?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember watching that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You'd watch your team lose most of the time, if we remember rightly. And then you'd watch that for the fancy football. And, you'd watch it on a Sunday morning and you'd think, wow, and it was incredible to you as a kid kind of thing. And, it was a different level. And now I think, obviously, this era of City, maybe I agree with Martin, maybe not the last couple of years, but we have played some extremely beautiful football and we've got a good mix of both. And I think it is true I can't remember who put it, the comment, but like Ozzy said as well, the perspective aspect of it is key because it's a subjective thing. And what one person thinks is sexy football, another person doesn't. But I personally, get the result. But I would much, much rather win the game and win a trophy than see, some bicycle kicks. For me, that's just the way it is.
do you know what? Going back in the days, for those of you old enough, Brian Horton versus Peter Reid. Peter Reid, we achieved better results. But I look back 20 times more fondly on the Brian Horton era because we played some electric, sexy football. So, yes, it's nice to have trophies, but we've got more trophies than we know what to do with now. So, to me...
Standards, Rich. Standards.
Yeah,
Standards, Rich.
I'd rather us...
Hi, Hamza. Good to see you.
I want us to have a go. I want us to have a go playing sexy football, interesting football, games that have you on the edge of your seat enjoying it. Now, I don't think Inter Barca is the best example because I think that was an example of some very good sexy attacking football and some absolutely dreadful defending. I mean, at times Barca made us against... was it Feyenoord looked like they were, an organised defence. I mean, so you don't, being sexy football doesn't mean you have to be rubbish in defence. It doesn't mean you have to, have no tactic, have no ability to keep the ball. I think City played some very sexy football in 23, not in the final if they're, Champions League or the FA Cup, but I thought that game against Barcelona, Real Madrid were exceptional. We played beautiful football.
Real Madrid, what was, yeah.
It wasn't just all players trying to beat 10 players, but it was beautiful football because it was
The
so
sexiest football I saw
brilliantly executed.
was Nicky Summerby, Paul Walsh, Uwe Rosler,
Peter Beagrie.
George Clarksey.
No, even before then, that Brian Horton team, as Rich said, was one of the most entertaining football teams I watched. We beat teams 4-3, 4-0, 5-2. We still finished 4th, 5th bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't come away going, but we played great football.
But you look back on that fondly. You look back on that more when you.
Yeah, I know I do, but as I keep getting told, Rich, we're not that club anymore. We're not that club anymore. That's what I keep getting told.
No, because we're not that club because instead of Nicky Summerby, we can go and try and get Florian Wirtz. So we can try and play that football with the best footballers in the world, and it's not the same. You're not going to come fourth.
I've never known us praise failure. We're now praising failure.
Who's we and what failure?
Who's praising failure?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Martin? Who's praising what failure?
I've seen loads of people praising Barcelona this week. Loads.
But then we would be hypocrites then, because if we say, well, we lost, but we were the better team.
Football fans.
Martin, in what world is probably winning the domestic double coming to the semi-final of the Champions League failure? I'm sorry, you've got a different, version of failure to me. I don't think a team's a failure because they don't win the Champions League. If you get to if you have a season like that, you win the double, and you get to the semi-final of the Champions League, given that they haven't even been able to register players and sign for 5 million, it's not failure.
Rich, I'm hearing from Pep and Haaland and Bernardo that us potentially winning FA Cup and finishing second is not good enough. That's what I'm hearing.
It's not, Martin. In the respects of is.
So argue with Rich then. Rich just said it. Don't come at me.
Let me finish what I'm going to say. Is for their standards, yes. Pep is obviously looking at it as the best manager in the world, that he feels that he has not produced the team to go out there and compete for a Premier League, let alone the other trophies. And the likes of Haaland, of course, because they're competitive. He does want to go out there and win everything and break all the records, because that's the type of player he is. So their standards are going to be high. Now, fans' expectations are going to be completely different. But for those players, for that manager, of course, they feel their standards have dropped. Of course, they feel that they've failed. Not only the fans, the club, but themselves more importantly.
And that's fine. I don't agree with it. It's fine. That's my viewpoint, though.
Again, that's their opinions. You have your own.
Their opinion. I think we're going down a very slippery. He's been off for 5 months and then pisses off. What the cheek of it? Listen, no, in all seriousness.
We'll go right
blame the nose. I didn't think everyone would want a big,
Come on, go on, Martin. Go and ride him up then.
Yeah.
Alan as well. Alan's off now. Anyone else? Right. No, in all seriousness, I just think we're on a slippery slope. Taking a piss now.
You're a dickhead.
Taking a piss.
You asked for that, Martin.
Sorry, Martin.
Normal service has resumed.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell you what, you're going to be screwed in 2.5 weeks when I'm in bloody Tenerife. Anyway, swiftly moving on.
All the guys.
This is Boo. This is Who. Do you see me caring?
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be walking down the promenade in Tenerife. Going.
You'll see Pat on the south stand.
In his budgie smugglers.
He'll be going. Ow. Yeah, can you turn the camera around on your phone so I can watch the game?
No, there's no games. There's no games.
Oh dear me.
Well, you'll have a lovely family holiday.
Yelling from the balcony, go, I want sexy football.
Martin,
he'll be live streaming. He'll be live streaming. Go, I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a very important question, Martin? When you're in your budgie smugglers and your wife beater strolling down the front, in Tenerife, are you going to walk just in a purely pragmatic A to B way? Or are you going to walk A to B but be a bit sexy at the same time? Because I think you should always do both.
Surely the end destination.
No, Elliot, I'm not listening. This was a stuck topic we wanted to talk about. Says, and listen, we know we have great. Listen, I know there are some fans like Ozza and Alan who don't know what bad times are if they hit them in the face.
What?
They got to 2008 and they saw Manchester City and they went, oh, bandwagon, jump.
I'm not a bandwagon fan. 1971, you bastard. I was up fucking Main Road. I've been through the shit.
1901.
Don't you come to me
No,
with
Alan
that.
jumped ship when
1901.
Barry. No, Alan, you jumped ship when Barry went under.
Oh,
Listen,
Alan,
I was
was you there when Bert Troutman broke his neck?
no, but Dad was.
I'm gonna say I was.
But Dad was.
Martin,
Alan was
Alan-
in the stands yelling at
Yeah.
Chapman, "Your neck is shit."
No, Alan used to call him Young Bert.
Yeah.
Why don't I agree with what
you're
FIFA? Sorry,
soft,
what
young
do I
Bert.
not agree with, mate? I only give an opinion, mate. I don't agree with that. Barca played well, though. They did play well, but they lost.
but that's what I'm saying, Martin. We hypocrites then, surely, because people always say, we've even debated it, loads of us on here, like, we might have lost the game, but we'll always say if we were the better team. So surely it's the same principle, is it not? I'm not saying I don't disagree with you, but
This was a debate we had. I think me, you and Tono's debate for the Everton one. You and Tom were waxing, we're going on about how bad the Everton result was, and I went, yeah, but we won 2-0. That's the thing with me.
We said, if you're going to do an analysis on a game, if it's really boring, you're going to say it's really boring. And it was meh. And it was okay. Yeah. But then I think you're not saying you don't appreciate the win, because you absolutely do. But compared to certain other games, yeah, you weren't gripped. It wasn't end-to-end football. It wasn't,
I don't like end-to-end football. It's something I call basketball football, we talked about on the channel.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of basketball football. I hate it.
Control.
Yeah.
It was never a
possession.
I like control, but not the tippy-tappy backwards football either. That gets on my nerves after a while.
Here's a good one. What about calculated risk football?
Yeah, I can't stand this 1-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-0, 3-2-3. That drives me, because as a coach, or as a former coach, I'm sat there going, the defenders are crap. That's what I'm sat there questioning the defenders at that point. If any game you're conceding 2 or 3 goals a game, your defense is having a mare.
Yeah.
A mare.
And I think even if you're allowing that tippy tappy football as the opposition team, you're obviously not doing a good enough job. It's obvious, isn't it? But it's
sorry, Faye, I was just going to
subjective.
quickly say leaking goals doesn't help you. Like, look at Liverpool's run in for that 13-14 season. People talk about Steven Gerrard like slipping and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't just that. You look at, I think it was the week after that, they barely got through with like a 4-3 win against Norwich, who were already down. Then obviously what happened away at Palace and that too. Plus they had a couple of other games like that too. You cannot be doing that. You can't define your season on trying to beat every team 4-3. It just does not get you anywhere.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Do you know what sex football is to me? Winning 3-0. That's sexy. Nice, clean, crisp 3-0 win. Clean sheet out of town. That's good for me. I'm all in for that.
You see that, Martin? That is exactly, you've just said it there. That's what I mean. I don't need to see flair. I don't need to see flair. I just need to see a really good, solid performance in defense, attacking. I need to see a good performance all around and think, you know what, my team smashed it there. City smashed it.
Of course.
And that to me is a sexy game. I'm not bothered about somebody doing bloody, like I say, bicycle kicks or some kind of fancy, inverted turns or whatever. I'm not bothered. I just want to win the game convincingly, and I'm happy.
And I get it. People love it's like goal scorers now. If Haaland scored 20 yards, if Haaland scored a tap in, people are like, yeah, it's only a tap in. If he scored a 30-yard thunderbolt, top bins, everyone's like, whoa, what a goal. And it's like, still getting a goal. It doesn't change. You don't get an extra goal because he's in it from 30 yards.
Yeah, it could still win you the title, that one goal. So you need to.
I get Spartacus saying he loves some flair, because you've got to remember where he's from. South American football is defined by flair.
Yeah.
It's what gets food on the table for a lot of those players, basically. And when you look at South America, like most leagues there, you're going to get at least one game a week that's going to have like a 5-4. They play
and that's what I'm saying.
They throw everything. They throw everything at bagging as many goals as they can.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying about the goal. So every Sunday we've watched that for the flair, then go back to our teams for the dirty football. It's a different level of performance almost. Absolutely, I agree.
But when we're like doing a goal of the month, you know what I mean? When we're rating one of the goals from the month, I think most of us are going to turn around and go, if there's a 60-yard screamer, again, top bins or a tap in, where the vote's going to go more than likely.
Yeah,
because everybody wants to see that type of goal. Let's be honest.
Because for every 50,
Aussie,
for every 50 tap-ins, you might get a 40-yard rocket. So
yeah,
it stands out. It's always going to stand out. Yeah,
of course. But the one we always want to see, do you know what I mean? Is what I'm saying is we always want to see that the goal from nowhere, outside the box, top bins is what we all think football is. When most of the time, as you said, Martin, it's more likely just a tap in.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose it is a preference. I have heard this season, believe it or not, I have heard City fans say, I'd rather lose and watch exciting football than win. And it baffled my mind. I don't get that. I was a bit, whoa.
To be fair, Martin, you and Rich would be happy if we were back in league, 2.
Don't be ageist now.
Let's be honest.
Martin is now all about winning. He's not happy if we're not first. I'm all about the entertainment, the emotion, the glory, the fun, the poetry of football.
No, as long as I've always said
that new beard, Rich, it's definitely bringing out the inner artist.
As long as we're challenging, I think it's fair. I think for the squad we have, the manager we have, we should be challenging. I don't think we should be winning it every year because we're not the Bundesliga. We're not Bayern Munich.
But then that's going back to your point about when the players have said they've failed. Because I said earlier on, they think they should be challenging for those, and you've just turned around, Martin, and said that's what they should be doing is challenging. That's what see.
But they are challenging. They're in an FA Cup final. But yes, I know the league is over. But then it comes down to what's your challenge parameters. Is it losing it by a point on the last day? Losing it by 5 points the week before? I suppose that becomes down to a subjective point of view. What you class as a challenge and not a challenge.
Did we ever challenge the title this season, if we're honest?
No. But we're going to finish probably second.
At least 2 games.
Yeah, but we're still going to be nowhere near what Liverpool current
no, but we're going to win. We're probably, touch wood, I think it'll still be hard, winning FA Cup.
Oh, yeah.
And Ozzy, I think what the players set for themselves and what we should think is success or failure are 2 different things. And
exactly.
I made that point earlier, Rich.
Yeah, if you go into an exam, you're always aiming at 100%, but it doesn't mean if you get 99, it's a failure. You could be top of the world. And so I think they're going to aim high, but they're always going to set themselves a higher standard and their standard is going to be we want to win every single game. But it doesn't mean if they don't.
Arsenal Football Club are to wanting to win the league every year. Liverpool standards are to win the league every year. City standards are to win the league. Newcastle in a year or 2 will be to win the league. There's only one league. 4 clubs are going to lose.
I do what, sorry?
I sort of chuckle there when Arsenal was mentioned.
No, but you know what I mean? Arsenal, as much as they failed, they have challenged.
They have challenged until the when it matters. Yeah.
No, but that's what I mean. It's what classes as challenging to you then.
But we beat Real Madrid.
And they beat us.
Yeah, that's what worries me. I want to win wars, not battles. If you want to win battles, go and enjoy yourself. I want to win the wars. This is going to sound awful. I'll get beat by United twice to win the league at the end of the season because we're not that club anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think you need to direct that question to Martin. Alan Martin.
True, though. I know you don't like it.
Martin,
Alan, 20 years ago.
You don't have to trade those off. What we want is to win the league and beat United twice, 6-1.
No, but I think Rich, what he's trying to say is, but I agree completely with Martin there because back in the day we didn't have this aspiration because it wasn't feasible for us.
Yeah.
So the only thing we had for years was beating United. And that was our absolute
title winning. That was our title.
That was title. Yeah. That was
they would
the
mock
top
us saying,
of
"Oh,
the
your cup final." Go, yeah.
Yeah.
The roles are reversed now because
that's my point,
very
that's
little
my point.
apart from beating us.
No, but exactly that's my point. United have now become the we beat Manchester City trophy, while City win the real trophies.
And it was the other way around.
Whereas Alan, City could win the league, but Alan will still spend 25 years crying about the Núñez back pass against United in the derby. And we're sat there with the league title at the end going, hey, and Alan's going, you dickhead, you gave that ball away.
But Alan, can I just ask you, how did you feel about Núñez's last minute winning goal for us against Villa? How did you feel about it?
Not bad for a fucking tram driver.
Pat, I love you. We need to do a series, by the way. Pat does the Mancunian way and just imitate everybody because it's brilliant. Yeah. Sorry, Alan. Go on.
Right. In the last month, I think he's improved, no question, right? And I'll be honest enough to admit that. Do I think he's a tram driver? Yes. Do I think he's good enough for a City team that's going to win the league? No. So if you're asking me, should he play as fullback next season? No, because he's not a fullback. Okay. He still dives in.
Do you think he's overrated, Alan?
Yes.
Underrated player of the season.
Would you give him another season, Alan? Would you give him another season?
I heard you say that the South Stand, Martin. You got slated for that.
I believe it.
Would you prefer Rico in that position?
Yeah.
Peace off.
That was like best of a bad box.
Do you think the only reason he's been playing at right back is because he can't play midfield?
Well, listen.
Yes or no?
Just a minute, Pat. I'll answer the first question by Fee. Listen, Núñez will not be there next season because we're going to buy a right fullback and we're going to buy a left fullback as well.
Go on, go on. So, Alan ITK's here. Go on.
Yeah. Well, straight away we're buying a guy from Juventus as right fullback. Fact. That's all.
Yeah. Not necessarily Alan. He may be left back actually.
What's his name?
Yeah, he can play both, can he?
Yeah. I want Alan says
he just play left back for Juventus.
Cambiasso.
No, what's his full name?
No idea. It's Cambiasso.
So who's the other fullback?
I don't know yet.
I'm going to invite you on, Elliot. I don't know if you're going, mate. Go on. Ain't Nori. Don't say
Nori.
Yeah, don't say Al Newty like me on the podcast.
Is that what you said?
I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't see.
Right, it could be Wesley.
Steve Finn says that apparently we're in for this Wesley from Flamengo.
Do you think Wesley will become the new Alan?
Listen, Jack and Ori can come. Don't worry about it.
Very good.
Jack and Ori can come, but let me tell you this now. Núñez, he can go and drive the tram or drive the intercity fucking express from Piccadilly to Houston. That would be good for him.
Anyway, right. Couple of things, and we'll get on to. I don't know if you've done Southampton. I love the way.
Have you got a card? Are you doing LLB? Are you?
Yeah, I've had it sitting in my office since I started this since the Villa game.
I'm just going to warn you. It's the only thing I'm going to say on this. Are we all prepared for the Verts meltdown when it doesn't come?
Yeah, I'm ready. That'll be.
That's why I said careful the way you say that because now everyone in the chat's going to say, "What have you heard? Is he definitely not coming now?"
Don't forget, City are finished. City are done. Rest in peace, Manchester City, when it doesn't come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
We'll have a moment of silence for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the FIFA watchers will be throwing the toys out the cot because they will.
Out the what?
Yeah. Toys out the cot.
You mean right. I had to double check. You said cot.
Yeah. If he doesn't come, it really opens us up.
Showing his age
around Núñez.
Núñez will never play. You've heard what Pep said about. You've heard what Pep said, word for word. He's not good enough to play in midfield. He
He
actually
said he's
that.
the new.
Thank you,
He
Alan.
said he is to football what Tom Brady is to
Right,
American football.
quickly want to move on to the Southampton game. As you know, we're going. There's going to be a live show from the stadium. That was
If you can
Tone's
get a
idea.
signal.
Tone wants to do a live show from the stadium. So
Are
yeah.
you staying down? Are you staying down there?
No, we're driving home and we're driving back.
Are you using Tone's phone? Because you never get great internet. Yours is always terrible. So maybe use Tone's phone.
Yeah, get Tone to use his minutes, Martin.
Yeah.
His data.
Seems
Well,
to
the
work
other
better
is
for
Tone.
Southerners.
If it's Tone, we'll be on a 45-minute clock and we've got to get in and out by the time we're done on 44.
Martin.
Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
Trust me. You want to try? Trust me. We're going to do a behind-the-scenes thing of this podcast one day. You want to hear Tone when he's going, right, you've got 44, go. Right, so he's in and he's out and he's in and he's, whoa.
Yeah, he's definitely our boss.
Clock is ticking. Get on with it.
Yeah, he's definitely our boss, isn't he, Martin?
Jesus. Anyway, golf cart for Martin at the Green Man. That's next weekend, mate. Week on Saturday, that one.
Yep. Or a bloody escalator.
Southampton away. Is anyone actually? What's he doing? I'm just seeing a beard.
Richard, is that a pink top or is that a red one?
Salmon.
I'd say it's a salmon.
His closet.
Salmon pink.
Yeah.
God.
Saying that, I've just bought some salmon pink swimming shorts. Salmon pink swimming shorts.
Martin's after the reef.
Budgies,
Martin's
smugglers.
after the reef.
No, there's no budgie smugglers. The bloody shorts, cheeky bugger. By the way, £75 for a pair of swimming shorts now, robbing bastards.
Are you sure they're not Are you sure they're not speedos?
No.
Whoa.
The other half's got the old bikini. The other half's got the old bikini and thong.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wear the thong.
Speedo.
Southampton.
Yeah.
I know we've got to take it serious. I know we do. But seriously, I'm going to start with you, Pat. Is anyone actually really... I know we've got to be professional, and I hate doing this. They're the worst team in Premier League history.
For now.
They've got to play Arsenal. Us. Is it Arsenal?
Yeah, they end the
Arsenal,
season at home against Arsenal.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on, I think I went conservative with 4-0 on the podcast. And I feel like I've been a bit conservative at 4-0.
I'll say it again. They want to get
2-0.
off that record with Derby as the worst in terms of points total ever in Premier League history. Whether they do it against us, I highly doubt it. But at least it's something for them to play for because they don't want to be on the wrong side of history, obviously. So, fuck's sake, Alan.
We beat them 1-0 though, didn't we? 1-0 as well.
Yeah, they always.
I was at that game. It wasn't great.
No, they always seem to grind out like low scoring games against us at home. I think we'll actually have a bit more freedom against them at St Mary's. So, yeah, look, I think if Tottenham, if Southampton allow us to, if they concede in the first, say, 15, 20 minutes, I think it's game over. I don't think there's any coming back from that, really. The only thing that might be a little bit of a concern for us is if it's still goalless or a goal down with maybe 20 minutes, half an hour to play, because then at least it gives them something to play for in a way. But a lot of things would have to go wrong for that to happen. I think we just need to play just a sensible, disciplined game, and I think realistically we should just choke the life out of them. And I don't care if it's like a slow burn sort of 2-0 win or something like that. I just want us to just play good, solid, effective football because that's all we should really be doing at this time of the season. And yeah, look, I don't want to say Southampton to be in a position where they'll probably dig their own hole, but if they're not on it in the first 20 minutes or so, then I think, basically it's going to be a very, very long day for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a few stats here for you. So Southampton have scored 3 goals in the last 5 matches, compared to City, who have scored 12 goals in the last 5 matches. We haven't lost a game in 9 matches. Southampton have conceded the most penalties this season, 9. And they haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 16 matches.
Have they got a striker who hasn't scored in about 6 months? Because if any team's got a striker who hasn't scored in about 6 months to 12 months,
Can only mean one thing.
stick a tenner on them scoring on Saturday. We are always the club that does bag someone.
Yep.
And
But
it's
it is worth probably putting a 10 or a 20 on
like
Southampton
Jack West
conceding
said,
a penalty as
City
well.
thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to do this. Big up Foggy again.
I already mentioned it while you're off camera.
You
So
already done it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we've done
Big
it.
up Foggy, mate. You have a legend, sir. And professional idiot with the $5. Since preseason come in, I'm a plastic American. I'm off to Real Madrid. Bye-bye.
but yeah, PI, nice knowing you, mate. Yeah.
That's a sarcastic thing, Alan. Why is Alan looking at him like he means it?
Yeah, he's
Alan
being
would say.
sarky.
He's being sarky, Alan.
He
I
gets it.
know, I know.
He's been Alan.
No, the way you were looking, like you're like figuring it out whether he was being sarky or not.
Mate, if we get double 115,
Oh no, we're not doing that.
There we
No.
go.
Alan's doing the Manc
There's a
thing,
reason
and
why I
he's
haven't
like,
been
you
down in
what?
Melbourne in a couple of years, mate.
Is that on your bingo list, that part?
No, this is Nunes only.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I only need one more. I just need one more.
Poor
Is it?
Nunes.
Just
Alan, do you think it'll be the Aston Villa goal? Do you think it'll be the only one he scores in his City career?
Yeah.
It was his first Premier League goal, wasn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bingo!
we got him.
Bingo.
I tell you what, Alan, I've not seen the Etihad light up like that for a very long time. Everyone loved it.
Nunes
When he
going
scores.
down the stadium, Alan. Oh.
I know. When I saw it, I was jumping up and down.
Look, I
Pleased.
didn't jump up and down. I had blood literally dripping from the finger at that point.
Oh, yeah,
What
he
are you
did.
doing?
Yeah, he
What were you
did.
doing? What were you doing?
Do we need to revisit what Martin said earlier? Because I think we did skip over it. He put Nunes as the best player for City this season.
No, I didn't.
Underrated. Underrated.
All right, wow.
You had him nominated as player of the season.
You did.
No, who did I have? I said
No,
Guardiola.
come on. Guardiola's
What I
that
said
angry.
was, I said he's in. I would have him in the top 3.
Who's your top
Top
So
three?
here's my
Season.
thing. So here's my thing. Everyone
Guardiola,
got with O'Reilly.
Kovacic,
No.
no, actually, no. My top three. My top three is the left post, the right post, and the crossbar.
Right, let me explain. Everyone had voted Nico O'Reilly as the young player of the year.
Oh, 100%.
Nico
yeah.
O'Reilly's only been in the team for the last 6 games. So if we can throw O'Reilly as the youngest player of the year, well, has Nunes not been one of the most? When you look at all the assists, the goals, and going in at right back for the last 6-7 games.
If you wanted to put a most improved, I think Nunes could go in that.
Yeah.
Gavardio was my thing. I'll be honest with you, I can't. Someone's ring's going. I can't choose 3.
No, I agree. I think instantly I go, right, it's obviously to me Guardiola. And then the second, I don't know. It's hard this season. There's not been much standout play, I don't think.
Can I just put
I'd
another
say-
player on the list of that? Because if we're talking about O'Reilly, I think we have to put some some kudos on.
I was saying,
Kuzanov.
George,
No, Kuzanov.
Yeah, Kustanov, yeah.
Because
Did great.
he's played 6 games, and I think in all those 6 games, I think he
proper
played
reach
extremely well.
we
And I
have
know
to-
people are
did.
going to talk. I know people are going to talk about when he first came on against Chelsea, but in all fairness to him, he got back into that game, and ever since that game, he kicked on. So if we're going to talk about O'Reilly being the young player for City season, I think Kuzanov should be getting mentioned as well.
That's a fair point.
Well, I think we're silly to not think that Haaland should be in the top 3 because yes, his goal tally is down from what we expect of him, but he still had a good return.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season,
Given
he
the
was
fact
firing him
that
in.
we were terribly out of form, he didn't get as much service, and he's been injured, but he still managed to get a decent amount of goals.
Yeah.
Well, can I put my moosh in there?
Surely the young player of the year is Savinho by a mile.
He's 25.
Savinho's he's played 5
Savinho?
No, he's like
No,
20.
he's like 20 years.
Mamouche.
20. No, so young player
Mate,
Savinho.
because everyone's
20.
going cush. Everyone's naming plays that do you know how bad we are at the moment? We're naming plays.
I'd still give it to Rodri.
5 games, 6 games.
Yeah,
Can we
well,
just
that's
stop?
exactly what we're
Hang on,
saying, I
hang
guess,
on.
isn't it?
Well, can I
Yeah,
just
but
say?
no, but
Can I
Savino's
just
played
say?
nearly 30 and got what?
Can
Getting
I
on
just
for 10
say?
assists.
Can I say? Rich, can I just say? We've been fucking shit this year. A lot of them.
Say it as you feel, Alan.
Ooh, took my breath away there.
Good luck. Thank you, monetization. That's dead.
Yep.
Dead in the water.
Yep. Yeah, I think the neighbours have gone blue in the face.
Get him to refund you.
Professional Idiot has then dropped another 10 Mancunian Way memberships. Thank you so much, mate. You are so generous and a superstar. W's in the chat for Foggy, Professional Idiot, Spikers, Bran, Adam, Peter, and Bella. Show your love in the chat for them all. You lot are on fire. As House Captain says, just sat on the fence, Alan.
No, I'm telling you the truth. We have been shit.
Anyway, back
Say
to
what you say.
Southampton. I don't know how we
Okay.
went from Southampton and went to we're fucking shit. But hey ho.
We were talking about our best players, and you just like a
A lot of them.
steamroller, Alan.
The whole lot of them. The whole lot of them have been shit. They have.
So you think you seriously think that Gvardiol's been crap?
Well then,
as a fullback, yeah. But centre half.
okay then, Alan, let's have a look at the league table, shall we? Because you want to do this. So Newcastle, they've been shit.
Yeah, apart from the League Cup.
Chelsea been shit.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest been shit.
No, they've been good.
No, they're below us, way above us, and we've won more games than them.
Mate,
Aston Villa been shit.
Yes and no.
We've won 2 more games than them, and we've scored more goals than them. Bournemouth been shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Brentford.
No, I like Brentford.
Right, Brentford. We've won 5 more games than Brentford.
That's fine, but their expectations, right? Their
And
expectations
there
are far lower.
we go. Boom.
House.
Straight into it.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about the league itself this season,
Hey,
like,
Ramza.
can anybody remember the last time we saw the 3 clubs get relegated this early in the season? I don't ever remember seeing 3 clubs get relegated with the best part of like 5 games to spare.
Yeah, it's been very definite this season.
Yeah.
Whereas the other side of the table is completely open. Yeah, it's bizarre.
I mean, there has been the talk of, obviously, over the last 2 seasons, the same teams that have come up have all gone back down.
Mm.
I think that's a wider conversation, maybe for another night. Is that going to be the norm? Is it that Championship clubs have just got no chance when they come back to Premier League? And Alan chuckles at that. I mean, we all know it's a Super League, but
I do.
We might do an end of season awards show. Best panelist, most improved, biggest waffler. Well, that's Alan. Most negative, Alan.
And I might challenge
Most curse words, Alan.
The most knowledgeable, Martin. I win that one.
Most bans and timeouts, Alan.
Yeah.
I go through at least 4 or 5 timeouts a season. Bans.
4 or 5 timeouts a week, more like it.
I get a lecture.
Not every appearance.
Alan, you don't get a lecture. It's when you start bringing politics into shit. I don't want. You know what? By the way, I don't want to do this on it. But
Alan doesn't talk about politics anymore.
He can't now.
5 times.
He went to Tasmania and there's a 10% swing against him.
I know. I'm telling you. 5
Every
times
seat is red now.
I had to say to Alan, I don't want to talk politics. And he had another nibble. And then he had another nibble. And then he had another nibble to the point I
To be fair, Martin, if he had a little nibble, he wasn't talking politics. Well, you can play.
He was. We were talking Trump. Everyone was coming out the door. We were well going for it by an hour in. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this.
I get to read the debate on politics with Leo Turner and him, Rich, every week, right? It goes on for hours. even when he's in Europe.
Every time.
Well, let's
time
not discuss
I'm
it
right.
now, hey, shall we, guys?
Yeah.
Right.
No, we shouldn't.
Anyway,
Don't go
All I
there.
say is I'm always
Funny,
right.
funny we say that because when this award show
Not,
comes on,
not
I think
Leo, you know. Yeah.
right,
yeah,
listen, we've
Kim
got
Jong
10 more
Martin will
minutes.
just come out and just have
We've
all the
got
awards
10
for
more
himself.
minutes. Southampton.
Oh, Martin.
Southampton. We've called
We're
it
gonna
the
be
final
really-
countdown.
Yeah, we're going to be really sexy. We're going to be so sexy.
I think City, I'm going to take my prediction, 3 wins out of 3. I think we finish second and we win the FA Cup.
And
I think we finished. I think this Southampton will be a 1-0 win to City.
I think 2-0.
It'll be the sexiest 1-0 you've ever fucking seen.
I think it's going to be. I think we'll get 5.
Do you know what? Listen, let's hang on. You know, when he comes down to the Imperial, he sits in the back and gives me this, what he's been doing tonight, all bloody match. He sits there just taking the piss out of me.
Yep.
Well, Pat's already won the award for Best Impressionist. 100%.
True. Very true.
Lenny's
Can
got-
anyone
by the way,
see?
Lenny,
Definitely won
are
the
you
award
going-
for best language, best pronunciation correction.
Yeah.
Lenny, have
I
you
win that
got-
every year, to be
terrible.
honest.
You do, Pat. You do win that.
Alan,
yeah.
are you no, Alan? Lenny, are you going on Saturday? Let me know. 4-1 says Dash. Good point, Ozzy. Let's not forget the Premier's got better. It's been poor at the
Yes.
top end, but overall the bulk of the teams above the bottom 3 have improved considerably.
Yeah,
Anyone starting Haaland, by the way?
I was just
Yeah,
about to
me.
say that.
All
I
right. I'm going to throw you 2
No
names. Haaland and Rodri.
If we
Haaland,
can
I
see
think,
Rodri
is
by
more likely.
Bournemouth, I'll be well happy.
Well,
I
it's
don't
full
think we'll see
training.
Rodri on the bench for the cup final. He comes on for the last minute and a half. If he scores, I hope he doesn't do a slide. He's traditional sliding on both knees.
I love the PTSD.
Yeah, maybe
You're
just
he's
a little
celebrating,
bump
and
in
then
the
as soon
air.
as he starts doing the slide, go, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I reckon the same. I reckon he's got to be on the bench. And then I reckon Bournemouth, he's going to come on for a few minutes. I don't reckon it'll be any 90 minutes anytime soon.
See you next season. That's what I think.
Whatever the doctors say
It's
is
all
what we
doctors
should do.
giving green light now. Do you want to think he's
Whatever
running
the
down the
doctors
bloody
say.
training team taking tackles?
Yeah, I still
See,
think he'll
see.
hedge his bet, so I think he'll protect him.
He'll protect him and he'll see you next season.
Protect from what? This is my protect from what? Because whenever he comes back, he's not going to be. They're not going to say don't touch him for 10 minutes. Like,
No, but then, like we were saying
Martin.
earlier about John Stones, throwing him in for 3 games in 7 days is not good either. So I think he's going
I
to
don't mean
ease
all
him in.
straight. I mean, do you think he'll play some parts? 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think he'll be on the bench for the final, and then
5-0.
Bournemouth 10 minutes.
5-0. Erling gets 2 goals off the bench.
First week back, and you're the first one out the door.
Exactly. 5-0.
Ollie.
Erling gets a couple off the bench.
Goodbye, Rich. Are you
Bye.
available? Good night, Rich.
See you
Bye,
soon.
Rich,
Hi.
I want to see your beard. I want to see your beard as long as Aussie's.
Rich,
Okay.
get a
Easy.
shave, you dirty sod.
What's your excuse?
Because I'm growing a beard, but I'm not doing it like, ZZ
God.
Top.
Oh God, you got a beard.
Well, you can't. That's because you can't.
What do you think
Alan.
this is, Alan? It's been on the
It's just
face
about-
for about a year.
You
Yeah,
can't
that's
go
your
as easy as
shave.
that one though.
The missus likes the beard.
It's good to have a beard on a
Shit.
man. It's manly.
Did she?
It was the missus who told me to get the beard.
Did she? Oh. You have lost weight as well, which is good.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad someone noticed it.
Well, you have.
I'm
you
not
have.
bothered. Listen, I'll take it. I'm spending £25 a month on the gym, and I'm on a mega
Yeah.
diet. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I've lost nearly
Yeah.
2 stone.
Good
You do
effort,
look
well
good,
done.
Martin.
Well done.
I just
You
love
do.
Alan's way of delivering it.
Yeah.
But you do look
Well,
good.
Classic.
Direct, you mean?
Hey, just wait to see me on these beach photos in 3 weeks.
So you won't be
Slow
like,
mo with steam coming behind.
Aussie's looking forward to that, I can tell.
The sad
That's
thing
going in
is,
the group
Fee, is
chat.
you're now going to see those photos because now you're
won't be
in the
like
group
that,
chat.
will you?
Fucking hell.
They're coming your way,
I don't
Fee.
want to. I'm all right, Ozzy. Oh my god.
Pat's not amused at all.
I think he's traumatized.
Oh, that's
I'm
brilliant.
sorry.
That's
This is
brilliant.
not. This is a channel where we're going to have a laugh. And we're going to have some fun. If it isn't for you, I get
The
it.
return of
But
Milky
we're having
Muscles,
some
as
fun on
House
the
Captain
channel.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to have a laugh. Life's
Yeah.
miserable. You've got to have a laugh.
You don't have a laugh with
Although
misery.
it's a bit difficult to laugh at what can be best described as a walrus trying to floss.
Brilliant.
There you go. I just painted a picture in your head for everyone.
Thanks for that, Pat. Just before
No,
bedtime for us.
I've
Thanks.
lost 2 stone.
I mean, the
the
75 quid they did
Listen,
start out as
Martin,
shorts. They
Martin.
started as shorts.
Martin, I'm taking the piss. And loads of respect. You've done well. Keep going.
Yeah. Fair play to you, Martin.
Well, but when I'm getting cold looking walrus flossing and milky muscles, I get a bit worried.
Oh, don't worry, Martin. A couple more months and starving kids in Africa will be sending you £1 a day.
Excuse me, I've been stood next to you.
Well,
I've seen smaller countries.
Yeah.
You keep your
Just for the
mouth
record,
shut,
ladies and
you
gentlemen, he
son.
stood next to me, but he has to stand on top of. He's stand on top of the curb.
Whoa.
Stand next to you, and I get a different bloody postcode on either side.
No, you
Anyway,
don't. You have to stand. No, you have to stand on the bloody curb just to talk to me at eye level.
I'll see you afterwards.
He-
sometime.
He's actually like much taller than I thought he was going to be. When he was, pushing me in
Who?
front of the blooming protest the other week at the Etihad, I did think so. I was like, Joe, he's not as
very
small as you
happy.
think.
Exactly, and she was very happy because she got noticed, she got recognised. You know, Fee? She's only about 3'2", so it is hard to see her. It really
I am
is.
small. But I got recognised to a degree, Martin, but only because I was with you, and then you just ditched me. But
That's
big up to the guy. Thanks, Martin. But anyway, big
By the
up
way,
to the
you know
guy
the
we
guy
saw
who
if you're
was
watching.
I had to go to my family and go
Yeah.
to the protest.
Yeah.
But the protest
Only
come
took
along,
me about another 15 minutes to
pushed
get
Fee
to
in front
Edinburgh.
of the I pushed Fee in front of the,
If I'm ever at the ground and you need help getting around, I'll just put you in my backpack.
I'd tell you this,
Oh,
Pat.
cheers.
You know, instead of
Thank
looking
you.
over, instead of
Put it on my
looking over
shoulders.
like you look over the side.
The banner, yeah.
Fee was stood underneath it like that.
I was.
Oh no,
I couldn't even.
No, you had the banner. You saw feet underneath, and then just hands like this over the
Yeah.
top of the flag.
Basically, there was people filming, and I thought, "Oh no, I'm not going to be on that, am I?" No problem with it because I agreed with it and everything.
Yeah.
But and then afterwards, I thought, "Of course, they're not going to see me." Literally, the banner was up here. Yeah, I'm just tiny.
So
The way it is.
so we're all thinking Southampton's easier. I'm going to play Haaland, and I'm going to put Rodri on the bench. Not play him. I want Rodri on the bench just to get used to that match day experience again. Because I don't think you can beat that camaraderie for him. Getting that into the match day spirit again, being down there with the lads.
You saw the Villa game. He was down with the bench.
Yeah,
he was
just
in his Rodri varsity jacket as well too. Looking
put him
sharp.
on the bench then. Just let him feel.
He's been there every single game, hasn't he? Which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
He's
anyway. Jack West is asking me for a space. I don't know because we ran out of things to talk about last night.
Shocker.
Yeah, it was. Jack, if you've got Ed, let me know, Ed, if you want to do a space. We'll see. People want to do one, we'll do it. It's the Costa Martin. No, I'm actually I'm on sugar-free syrups now.
Shouldn't be on syrups at all.
I'm going to go, guys, because I've got work I need to do. All right, guys?
Yeah.
Right.
Take care.
Hey, Alan, do you think you'll ever stay to the end of a show? Just one day?
No, I'm going to do an interview at 8:30, 10 minutes time, so I've got to prepare. All right?
Is that with
What are you
LB?
interviewing him? What's the job interview for?
Project manager role. So there you go.
What things you got to do?
Project manager.
Don't be shit.
No, but
Don't be shit.
what's the
Don't
job?
be Nunes.
What's the specifications?
He's
of the job?
interviewing for a new tram driver.
What makes him or she? Is it a she or a he?
It's a she.
Jesus. Run now, whoever you are. Do not go to the interview. I swear down. Do not go. Seriously. Run while you can. You will not get out alive.
Oh, God.
It would be funny.
I've got a job interview in about 8 minutes for a project manager role. I've got to go, guys.
I hope for his sake the applicant's last name is Nunes.
I'm telling you, Alan's like that. She's like, hello, come in. And she's like, I've got
No,
to
don't even, Martin,
Yeah.
don't reenact it. You could go horribly wrong.
Because he's like, I'm going to bed soon.
Yeah.
I'll be waking up with night sweats. It's not good.
Really not for you. Really not.
Anyway, you know what? I'm really excited for the week coming up. Southampton Cup final, Bournemouth. It's great to see, by the way, tickets are moving now for the Cup final, which is brilliant. I'm really for it. We are going to do some watch-alongs for the Club World Cup, which I'm looking forward to. At like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
2 in the morning.
2 in the morning.
Well, two of the three
We'll go
suit
with
you
it.
more than they suit me, Martin. So, but the one in the middle, that Alain is a good one for me. I mean, that's lunchtime.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah. Forewarning, I must be
All right
pissed.
then. Anyway, final thoughts, everyone. Fee, can I just say it's been a pleasure to have you on the first time. And, well, you've been on before, but the official first time as a member of the channel.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on the Mancunian way in total.
Yeah, just to let you know, your first week of you know what, you've got to do like an initiation challenge. We
No.
didn't have them. You've got to have a 1 hour phone call with Alan, just the two of you.
Okay, well, it's been nice knowing you all. And it's been a pleasure. I'm off.
She's out already.
This isn't what I signed up for.
Yeah, I was going to say that we have got an extra 3,000 left. There's 4,500 left out of 33k. We got 30. When is it 30? We've got up. They are going to sell out this time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to sell out. I cannot wait. It's going to be an amazing day.
Yeah.
We'll be in the green man again. Because Crystal Palace have got frigging box thing again.
Yeah.
Box Park, yeah.
Yeah, why do we never end up with Box Park? She's slightly annoying.
Well, if you get that golf cart, you won't have to worry.
Yes, we'll do one, Jack.
Yeah.
That annoys me, that. Why the hell do we never got Box Park the last time we were in the final?
No.
So
Piss-taking sods. I've got to walk up a sodding hill now. Thank you.
just think of it as exercise, Martin.
No, Ozzy, you want to see it? It's not a hill. It's like that. You're literally climbing.
You can work up to it. You get the treadmill.
No, you can't. Because
because
it does that. It's really due because it goes and then just does that suddenly, and you're like, oh crap. I met Linny coming down. Oh, it was a mess. I thought Linny was going to call an ambulance for me. I got to the top and Big Steve went, "Are you all right?" I went, "No, give me 5."
Did you?
You can tell that that photo. I think the photo you took with Tone at the Green Man definitely wasn't taken. It was probably taken about half an hour after you got there.
Tone.
Because if he
Daps?
Was it Daps? I thought you got a photo with Tone.
That was at the Etihad, wasn't it?
I was at the Etihad.
Who was you got the photo with at the Green Man?
Luke and Steve.
Oh, Luke and Steve. That's right. Yeah. Well, I was just saying that photo wouldn't have been taken the first 5 minutes you got up there. Well, it didn't look like it.
No, definitely not.
Oh, we not got a Green Man.
Oh, that's unusual.
What, is it closed or they're just not allowing Blues in? Or any football fans? That's a
So
weird
what
one.
have we got then, Andrew? I had to walk from pink car park to the Green Man. I'm in the blue car park this time. I'm in the blue. Well, I'm in the blue car park again, actually. Say this time. But my other half's coming with me this time. So,
yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, Ozzy, for joining us. A pleasure, never a chore.
Definitely. Thank you again to Fee. You've been brilliant as always, and it's great to have you part of the Mancunian family.
Oh, cheers. Thanks, Ozzy.
And Pat.
Yeah. Pat.
Oh, hi. Jesus, can't even give a compliment.
And Martin.
No. What?
Don't start doing that, Fee.
Thank you for joining us, mate. As
You
always.
flirted.
No.
Thank you for
Well, I
joining
know
us.
you're not, but Martin, he's Ed.
Thank you for joining us, Pat. Bloody hell. Can I get to the point?
Yep. Yes. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Ozzy. Thank
Get
you,
on with it,
Fee.
Martin.
Yep. It's
Oh,
nice
we've
to have
got
someone
that
on the panel
Phoenix
that doesn't
Knights
down with
club.
fake praise. Yeah.
We've got that frigging
Thanks,
Phoenix Knight falling apart club.
Oh well, you'll have a great time. Cheap beer.
Yeah.
And
I'd have to say, if I was going, I'd probably just end up staying around Borough Market. There's just so many good pubs around there.
Oh, what a place! Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather because I went there before we went to Palace away early this season, and it was just nicer than trying to find places around Croydon and that because it's not exactly close. I find crazy is like people think, oh, it's Palace, it's easy to commute for them. It's like depending what part of London you're in, it may take as long for them to get to Wembley as it would be for Blues to get from Manchester from Piccadilly to Euston.
Yeah, I used to live in London, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
commutable is
mental.
mad.
Yeah, and don't forget, tomorrow we are back. Smash those final 2 likes. We're back tomorrow, 12 p.m. with the Transfer Waffle Show with me, Tone and LB. Don't forget as well, episode 3 of Blues Down Under is on. I promise you I will not be on this week. I promise you I will not be on. I swear I will not be on.
So he'll be on.
I normally get it's when Pat messages me an hour beforehand. Are you free? I'm not Australian, Pat. But yeah, no, go and give that a lot of love. Great new show starting. Loads of things coming up. Episode 8 of the podcast is out. Episode 9 will be recorded on Sunday. So don't forget, look out for that. And Apple, go on fakes. I can't remember. What's it on?
At the minute, it's on Amazon, Podcast, Spotify, and Apple.
Yes. And also, keep an eye. I would start joining the TikTok and the YouTube stuff because that's going to get going again very, very soon.
Yeah.
So anyway,
do we mention post-match for Southampton was going to be
Sunday night?
Sunday night. Cool. Right.
Sunday night post-match for Southampton. We'll see is available around about 9, half 9, depending on when people are available. So we don't want to drag Pat up too early. He does need his beauty sleep.
Some more than others.
True.
I wouldn't say that, Ozzy, if I were you. But anyway, massive thank you to everyone. Smash them for a few likes. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. We will do a space because let's do it. We might as well. I'm at the gym at 4 a.m., so I might as well stay right the way through. It's fun and games, isn't it? Sleep when I'm dead. Take care, all, and we'll see you all very, very soon. And as always, up the Blues. Come on, sis.
For the sexy football.
See you
sexy football. Bye, everyone.
And don't forget, keep those standards up.
For the sexy football.